Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where my microphone is awkwardly placed. There we go. That was a little creaky, but we're good. Okay, so we're going to proceed here.
Construction venture completed.
Wonderful. So we just completed our construction down over here. There's not a whole lot else to do here, so we're just going to move these guys on over. And we're mostly, at this point, awaiting influence. Now, there are some things we could do to alleviate our influence. Oh, hello. Physics research. Wonderful. We're just going to grab this flat 5% research speed increase. That's going to be very useful for us indeed. Okay, so there are some... We're definitely coming back to that one. I think that we'll just have this guy be our difficult thing to researcher. But we may want to allow him to grab some experience first. But that's okay. Actually, it was this one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I didn't read that. My bad. We are reading this, and I want to clarify how frequently we're reading this. We're reading the events for the first time. So, I need to get used to that. Mass extinction, burned planet. One of the planets orbiting this star bears the still open wounds of some past calamity. Its surface is a roiling sea of half-melted minerals boiling into a superheated atmosphere, but grim astronomers claim that it may once have supported life. A special project has been issued to study the molten planet. And so we shall. We also just found some Delta aliens. And they're space whales. Okay. Not a problem. So I do want to research that, and I also want to do this. Now, we're going to have you research both of these first. Excellent. Okay. There we go. So we are currently waiting on influence. It does, of course, take currently, in order to build the starbase, it takes a total of 75 influence. Now, as I was saying before I was interrupted by events, there are ways that you can deal with that, like you can adopt expansion and grab reach for the stars, and that is definitely what we're going to do after we fill out discovery. To get that sweet, sweet research speed and Ascension perk. Now, for Ascension perks, once again, I always feel like technological ascendancy is just too good to not take. There are other options here, like Interstellar Dominion to reduce our influence cost, but overall, I tend to prefer to grab a tech advantage as early as possible. So that is how I tend to play the early game in Stellaris anyway. So for right now, we are awaiting influence on expansion. However, an unnatural shift in the atmosphere's chemical makeup resulted in the slow but irreversible onset of an ice age, one that began before the formation of the Grim Council and is likely to persist long after our passing. The exact cause remains unknown, but probable explanations include failed terraforming events or even intraplanetary terrorism. Some of the more radical elements within the scientific community on Azure Chalice suggest that the dramatic climate shift may have been brought on by the unchecked emission of gaseous industrial byproduct into the atmosphere. This view is confined to the scientific fringe, as it's unlikely that any race intelligent enough to achieve full industrialization would be stupid enough to accidentally wipe themselves out. I feel like that might be slightly topical. Okay. Wonderful. So on our capital, we definitely do need to deal with this unemployment. And while I would like this to be an administrative planet, the question is, are there any bonuses to that? So, like, for example, our planetary administration here, that gives us administrator jobs. Fine. We're definitely going to need an industrial world, there's no doubt about that, as well as a scientific one. The main question is there an ability, or rather, is there a bonus building for administrative offices, the way there are for, say, research labs and things like that? That's the question. And I don't know what the answer to that question is just yet. So I think for now, we're going to build an admin office. And then we'll take a look at that later on and maybe reevaluate. So that'll be fine. Ah, a planet in the system still wears the fossilized traces of a past ecology on its sleeve. What could turn a thriving biosphere into a blasted wasteland? A special project has been issued. Indeed it has. Okay, so we're going to go to this one over here, and we're going to do that first. Wonderful.
A special project is complete.
The unfortunate fate of the planet can be laid squarely at the feet of cosmic whims. Some gravitational disturbance, after eyeing the system's sun with some suspicion, our scientists named a transient space-time anomaly as the likely culprit, forced the planet from its natural orbit to one much too close to the sun. Although the planet is slowly spiraling out towards its original orbit, it has been cooking in the residual heat from the star ever since. Yikes. That's definitely a little spooky there. Okay. So we are, of course, currently working on indoctrination here, and eventually we're going to do covert infiltration once we have gene tailoring. Okay, these guys are becoming more militaristic again. That's good for them, I'm sure. Battle debris. A colossal space battle occurred in high orbit of Atlas II some 600,000 years ago, with ships from at least 5 different fleets participating. One of the fleets belonged to the Cybrex, although the vast majority of orbital debris seems to come from the other participants. Remarkable. Okay, so we have a special project here. What level is that? Oh, that's just a regular special project. Go ahead and do that. Excellent. We'll grab that precursor site.
A special project is complete.
Life on the now barren planet was, sadly, doomed from the start. Not that sad. Life is terrible for the environment. As if by some cruel stellar conspiracy, the dominant species on the planet barely had time to awaken to sapience and invent agriculture before, through unfortunate geological mechanisms, the Earth started turning sour. Samples from lower soil strata and the fossilized remains of the creatures that once roamed the planet show that several vital minerals needed to rejuvenate the soil ended up through their largely agricultural diet in the endoskeletons of the native beings. Their bones were prone to fossilize, rather than decay, and their very existence exhausted the fragile ecosystem they inhabited, leaving it permanently transformed in the wake of their passing. See, that's what we're saying. Life is bad for the environment. That's what we gotta do here. We gotta fix that. Hello, we can actually grab one of our systems. And we're gonna grab Atlas as the system here first. Oh, we're actually still missing 3, of course. We need to wait for this month tick. There we go. Wonderful. Engineering research has finished up. Mining station output. Yes, please. We're pretty slow on our research right now, but that will change as we expand. So the reason we're grabbing this as opposed to this, we're not currently short on minerals or energy credits. I would rather have the 2 physics research and the 10 society research that we're going to get from this primitive civilization.
Strange happenings afoot.
Okay, only 84 days? Research that.
A special project.
I should have read it.
is complete.
Actually, I still could. The geoscape of Break 1 is dominated by what appear from orbit to be silvery, metallic crystals of dimensions never before seen. From orbit, they eerily resemble skyscrapers. Closer study is warranted. Hello, space whales. Wonderful. So yeah, our construction ships are definitely going to be inefficient for a while here. We can't keep up. With the pace of exploration, that is. After analyzing the debris left behind from the ancient battle fought above Atlas II, we've learned that 4 alien empires empires. Wow, that was very difficult. Why is it difficult to say that? It shouldn't be. 4 alien empires, contemporary with the Cybrex, pulled their forces together in a desperate attempt to halt the advancing fleets of the machine consciousness. Judging by the small amounts of Cybrex debris that was produced by the battle, they were not successful. An interesting find indeed. That's a fair amount of engineering research. We'll happily put that to good use. Let's check in on our capital here. Our admin offices are going to be built quite soon. And I also figured out how our proper pops reproduce. So the Rexar are going to continue to grow. However, there's this, the Chamber of Elevation. Necrophytes turn consumer goods and food into unity and amenities. Once every 10 years, necrophytes are transformed into ones in an elevation ritual. So that's interesting. Definitely a unique form of reproduction there. Detailed analysis of the enormic metallic... Enormic? Oh boy, this is not going well. Let me try that one again. Detailed analysis of the enormous metallic crystals dominating Break 1's landscape have defied all expectations. Science Officer Chardon is excited to reveal that these oversized crystals are in fact composed of trillions upon trillions of deactivated nanites. Their molecular structure matches no known empire's nanotechnology signatures. We're the only known empire, making their point of origin indeterminable. They may have been deposited on the planet by some unknown spacefarers for an unknown purpose. As far as Chardon can tell, the nanites compiled themselves into perfectly oriented crystalline lattices and replicated until a point at which they became deactivated. While the crystals they created do in fact resemble buildings, they are entirely uniform in composition and cannot possibly have served any such purpose. Incredible. So we just got 200 nanites and 250 engineering research. So nanites are, of course, in this special category here. They're usually only found in the L cluster, so that'll be interesting. I mean, we don't have a source of the nanites, so that's going to be kind of problematic to actually utilize them. Okay, so you are currently doing some exploration. That's fine. Let's go ahead and grab Polytechnic Education to give ourselves leader experience gain so that these ships will level up a little faster. I'm okay with the science ship being tied up, but we have a lot of very, very difficult anomalies right now. This would take 900 days in theory. This one 1800. Like, that is too much. So we're going to do some exploration first. And we'll come back to those. We're currently at 30 influence. Oh, hello. I missed this getting finished up. I shouldn't have missed that. We're going to build that observation post, and we are going to build the research station there, and then the mining station after, in that order. Excellent. I mean, we're not in a tremendous hurry. This is just a routine anomaly. Go ahead and research that. The mineral composition doesn't match projections. Okay, go for it. So we're not in a huge hurry as long as we get this system right here. This one is the one that we absolutely must get for defensive purposes. So we should probably make our way up this direction unless we see something truly magnificent that we have to grab earlier. To that end, we may want to send this construction ship up to here, now that we can. And then we would send this construction ship over to here. Something along those lines. And you can actually come out here and survey as soon as you're done there. Leviathan down. Okay, we'll come back to you in a moment. Are you leaving? Yes, you are leaving. Okay, so you can just come survey over here. Those scans have revealed the cause of Chatib 2b's odd metal composition. Thorough scans, not those scans. Wow, I'm doing poorly today. Okay. The moon is the crash site of dozens of massive spaceships, larger than anything we could have ever imagined. The construction dates back several million years. Plus 2 alloys over here. That's pretty good. We're going to need those. Although, honestly, minerals are a little bit more valuable because of consumer good needs. I really wish we could settle this tundra world. But we currently... Hang on a moment. Wow, words are really, really hard today. Habitability is the term I'm looking for. This habitability rate is only for our current species, right? Let's hop into the expansion planner here. And yeah, for the Raxar, it's actually even worse for us. Fair enough. Fair enough. So this is like the equivalent of the spawning chamber. The Kroll are now becoming more spiritualist. That's great. Let's check in on them. Yeah, we'll come back to you, Anomaly. Let's see here. These guys are currently... Where do we actually see... Ah, here we go. They're authoritarian, xenophile, spiritualist, militarist. They're going to keep moving towards ours. So that's great. There are signs of activity by an ancient precursor civilization on this inhospitable rock, but that is very hard, so we're going to hold off on that. Leave be for now. Excellent. Well, you can see here, this is just our little corner of the galaxy, and eventually we'll be running into additional people. I really like that we spawned in a dead-end constellation, though. This is absolutely great. I'm a huge fan of that when that happens. And then we'll see if we can grab any more of these, but it's going to get exponentially harder to defend them, so that's going to be something we're going to have to think of. So yeah, you're 90 days away. We are getting close to being able to grab another system here. And given the options, it has to be Marfark, and I'm not super enthused by that. I mean, sure, we're a little low on our energy credits, I suppose. That's fine. How are we doing on housing here? We've got some housing. I think we should probably think about clearing out the slums or the industrial wasteland. There we go. Excellent. So this construction ship is currently just chilling, and we'll go ahead and build that outpost there. Wonderful. And yeah, having 2 construction ships right now is overkill. There's no doubt about that. The GCS Cracked Misfortune has discovered a previously unknown strategic resource on 8FV 761, dubbed Volatile Motes. These preternatural particles contain a tremendous amount of energy which could be exploited in energy production, as fuel, or even as explosives. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. I am really failing these readings. I'm sorry, I guess it's just one of those days. It's not going well. Words are very difficult today, it seems. At any rate, we're doing okay on food, we're doing okay on minerals. I would like to queue up that as well, and then in a few months we'll be able to queue up removing this sprawling slums. Ah, here's our elevation ceremony. Ever since the grim takeover of Azure Chalice, the transformation of Rexari into ones has been shrouded in ritual. Once every 10 years, a date which is rapidly approaching, the apprentices gather in the Chamber of Elevation for a special ceremony. What exactly happens to them is a closely guarded secret known to only a select few, but when they emerge, they do so as ones. Let the preparation commence. At the end of the year, all necrophytes on Azure Chalice will be converted into ones. Yes, we already knew this was how this worked, but this is fascinating. Let's check in here, and the necrophytes should probably be specialists? Yeah. So you can see here we're going to have 3 necrophytes that are going to change into ones. So 3 of our Raxar. Now, we're currently growing at 3.15 per month. So let me pull open a calculator. This happens every 10 years. 3.15 per month times 12 times 10 is 378 progress. So that is 3.78 pops every 10 years. If we're promoting 3 neophytes per year, then we're still promoting fewer Raxar than are growing. So we're not going to run out of Raxar. Good. I imagine Paradox probably did that math as well.
Construction venture completed.
Okay, so there's a starbase built up here. We've discovered a new archaeological site. What kind of a difficulty is that? Difficulty of 3? Oh, that's pretty difficult. Okay. This science chip is skill 3, though. We could maybe have it excavate this site afterwards, but it's not part of our empire, so I actually forgot that you have to claim the system first. We'll build our mining stations up here, though. That will be absolutely fine. That'll get us that extra 4 energy credits per month. And we'll be able to clear out this slum here just as soon as our month tick happens. Oh no, we need 1 more month tick. That's right. On clearing, 1 Raxar pop is created. Fascinating. This gives +2 max agriculture districts. And we already have the +2 max mining districts, so that's good. Okay, so we found this. We're receiving a weak signal from the surface of this planet. The source appears to be some kind of tracking beacon. We're going to go ahead and research that. That's only 67 days. Go for it. Excellent. So this is 8 and 10 in terms of difficulty over here. This is also 8. So we're pretty much going to need... Oh, the science chip isn't doing anything. Why don't you go ahead and survey that system? And then you can start heading off this direction. That trinary system does not appear to have a route to it. Maybe we'll see it as we get further up, but it may be a wormhole-only system. We'll see. I do like looking for choke points. That's pretty important. We've converted 3 pops to our species in an elevation ceremony on Azure Chalice. Wonderful. They have been necrophaged. A small short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Siplim 6. It appears to be an ancient survey marker placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious metals. The miners it was meant for evidently never arrived, as the deposit is still here. +4 monthly minerals. That's a lot of minerals coming up over here. And a volatile moat. This is a pretty good system, especially with an archaeological site in it. Fascinating. This science ship is doing nothing. It needs to be exploring off this direction. We'll do something like that.
Construction venture complete.
Wonderful. So I think, any way we slice it, we're 2 away from here. I think we'll just have this construction ship start moving back this way. This will become the priority construction ship, and then this one would be the backup construction ship. Allegedly, this planet's flora and fauna choked on their own poisonous emissions, likely helped along by the release of reactive gases from beneath the planet's crust. A special project has been issued to investigate the matter. I mean, that sounds right. There's no doubt about that. Okay, where is this? Up here? Do it first. Let's go. So we're currently lacking influence in expanding our empire a little bit more, but D9107D is home to a number of exquisite impact craters. However, something breaks the visual uniformity in one of the larger craters. Research it. We are currently lacking in jobs on our capital, and I really feel like we should go for mining districts, or should we? Maybe just a city district. It gives 1 clerk job. Maybe we should go for 1 mining district for now. We can replace it later. The mining district gives 2 miner jobs. And then we can start going down the city route if we're going to spam out more administrative offices once we switch over the alloy foundries, civilian industries, and research labs on dedicated planets for those things. For now, though, we're nowhere near doing that. But we are going to finish off the Discovery Tree, Faith in Science, and we're going to grab Technological Ascendancy. It's just too powerful to not take. Too powerful. That also gives us an additional 5% research speed, so our research speed is definitely coming up. Energy grids and capacity subsidies is definitely something I'd be interested in grabbing. We may need a generator world eventually, and that would give us what we need to be able to create that. The cracks in the planet's crust, first presumed to be the result of significant tectonic activity, are actually the lasting marks of impossibly large roots burrowing through the Earth. At some point in the distant past, a freak mutation, possibly deliberately induced by sapient beings, although it is unlikely they could have predicted the result, caused the native plant life to grow out of control. Many of these plants reproduce through pollination, with countless gametes carried by currents through the lower atmosphere. While this process was originally only cause for mild irritation, the exponential increase in atmosphere-borne particles effectively choked the life out of all animals on the planet in a matter of months. While the research expedition often yielded unexpected results, Grim scientists now have access to an unprecedented wealth of data with which to accurately model the future of Azure Chalice. Initial reports suggest that Azure Palace will be in no real danger for at least a dozen generations, save from freak cosmic events or the violent collapse of the Grim Council. So we can gain 350 research in physics and society, or 80 influence and 462 unity. Right now, I'm thinking the influence and unity is worth more to us. This is what, like 10 months worth of research in each of those categories, approximately, compared to being able to potentially grab this system that much quicker. I feel like we're definitely better off grabbing that. Okay. In the center of a particularly large crater on D9109D lies a cluster of metal shapes, doubtlessly of alien origin. Science Officer Chardon is convinced that they're massive, planetoid-mountable propulsion devices intended to push D9109D from its orbit for purposes and destinations unknown. The GCS Cracked Misfortune is on standby as crew ready to begin disassembly and analysis of the alleged propulsion systems with the hopes of improving our own thruster technology. We're going to get ion thrusters. That is very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this location here. We'll build a starbase there. And then we're also going to build a starbase over here once we have the influence. For now, though, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue our inexorable spread. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.